Let's just give him 2 minutes so he can answer.
Who's he box? What are you gonna do?
Are we good?
Can't do nothing.
We're ready? Okay. Resolution number 2024-0601, resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to approve meeting minutes for May 9th, 2024 reorganization.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns? Director, call the roll.
David Edwards. Aye. Anthony Forbes. Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Michael Russo.
Aye.
James Sanford.
No.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Resolution number 2024-0602, resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to approve the meeting minutes for May 9th, 2024 regular board meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns?
David Edwards. Aye. Anthony Forbes. Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Michael Russo.
Aye.
James Sanford.
No.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Resolution number 2024-0603, resolution to ratify payment of the monthly list of bills for the Hoboken Housing Authority.
Motion.
Second.
I have a question.
Question? Yes, absolutely.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
We're teaching you. It's okay.
Direct, Commissioner Edwards?
Sorry, can I ask my
Yes.
question?
I'm not hearing you, sorry.
Oh, sorry, I keep moving back. My apologies. So, on the list of bills,
Excuse me for 1 minute, can we please keep it quiet in the
Yes,
audience?
please.
Sorry about that, go ahead, Commissioner Edwards.
thank you. First, before I ask my question, just to point out, you'll notice under the reference, there's numbers now on this report. This is part of what we're doing in the Finance Committee, so we can line up these with budget items. Again, it'll be clearer next month. The one question I do have, and it's really more questions of understanding, is item number 11 under the monthly administrative expenses. This is for the insurance. It's a large amount, $676,401. It says...
11 or 12?
I think that's 12, yeah.
Oh, sorry, did I say 11?
Yes, yes.
I meant 12.
No worries.
Well, I got Robert's rules wrong. Numbers wrong.
You're learning, it's okay.
Okay, thank you. So, item number 12, New Jersey Public Housing Authority, JIF. A couple of questions here. It says it's the first installment fund year 2024.
That is a typo on my part. It is the second installment. I apologize.
Okay, so what is the period that this installment is covering?
So the insurance policy runs from January 1st through December 31st of 2024. The first payment was due on January 31st of 2024, so that was approved at the January 2024 board meeting. The second payment is due no later than June 30th of 2024. So you could call it that it's covering the second half of the year, but it is.
Got it, okay. And what's near and dear to my heart, and probably everybody's seen these tables, this table, does this cover directors and officers insurance? Do we have directors and officers insurance?
Yes.
Yes,
And it is one of the coverages that's part of this payment?
that's correct.
Yes.
Okay, it's just not listed here, which I guess is the point.
Okay.
Well, good, I'm very glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And this item, 4514, if you take it back to the budget, and realize everybody that has it, it says all other insurance. And I guess my question is, what other insurance do we have besides what's not part of this?
We have supplemental flood insurance policies for all of our properties except Fox Hill, because they're all in the flood zone. So you'll see those payments requested to be approved. Those policies expire September 30th, January 10th, and February 1st.
And will those expenses for that insurance be part of line item 4514?
Yeah,
And do we have an approximate amount that you know for those?
yeah. They're running just south of $150,000 cumulative.
Okay, so am I correct then? If Right, was the first payment also for $676,400?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you double that,
2 payments, yes.
so that's $1,352,000.
Yep.
And you just said this other insurance was,
Yep.
so $1,452,000? So this line item is about $150,000 over for the year then?
Yeah, so when we budgeted, we weren't aware. Last year, this policy that right now is running $1.35 million for the year was at about $1.1 million. We experienced a substantial increase in the insurance policy for calendar year 2024.
Have we had, I'm sorry, Commissioner, have we had a conversation with our broker?
They have, and we haven't been exploring the option of shopping it. You've recommended that. We haven't gotten too far in that process, but it's an across-the-board issue that we're seeing.
If you need help with that conversation, let me know.
Fine.
You think I push you hard?
Do we, and again, back to procurement policy here, what's the process for the approval of the insurance? I understand it would be the procurement committee approves it on an annual basis, is that correct?
No, we just.
Not on the insurance.
Not the
Not
JIP
the insurance.
No.
Not the
or
general.
broker.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so then do we bid out between the brokers?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
we do that, Ed.
okay.
I would like to mention very quickly, this was a major topic of conversation at the National Convention on the way insurance rates are going for housing authorities. This is
Just on a whole, another note, I mean, I've said this once before, I'll say it again. I absolutely want to talk about our health insurance policies as well, because the state, I have absolutely zero faith in how the state is running its state health insurance.
And
And just to remind the public, for Commissioner Edwards' edification, the current broker is who?
Brown and Brown.
thank you. And also for the other commissioners' edification, the annual budget for the Hoboken Housing Authority projects that we will generate more revenues than expenses by less than $300,000. We've just found one line item that's going to be over by $150,000. And I know some other items are going to be better, some others are going to be worse, but I mean, this is a substantial portion of the limited flexibility that we have in terms of the annual budget, which is why I asked the question. So, and yes, I am aware that insurance is continuing to go up. But, all right, that's it for me.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Any other questions, concerns, Commissioner?
Yes, just one or two.
Yes, Commissioner.
So I was looking through the list of bills, and I see Reno and Kavanaugh, item 18 on page 2 of the monthly contractual expenses.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to remove that line item from the list of bills.
I'm sorry,
From the list of bills.
Okay, there's a motion, but am I right in saying that this is the lawyers for our redevelopment, correct?
The attorneys for our redevelopment.
Directly for the
Correct.
redevelopment, that's not.
And only for the
Madam Chair,
redevelopment.
Sure.
Commissioner, if you don't mind, was there any inconsistencies or anything in that bill that you found that we should be aware of, or
Well, that's.
is it just
yeah,
the firm that you're concerned with?
Well, that's the nature of the question. I don't have their billing in front of me to review as part of the list of bills. And similarly to how I have been reviewing Council Fitzpatrick's billing, I would also like to review Reno and Kavanaugh, and for that reason, I'd like to review that list of bills.
for that reason, I'd like to.
And so, I have been reviewing.
I just got it, just
Okay.
for that reason, I would like to.
And for that reason, I would like to remove them from the monthly list of bills until I can review it in detail.
Director, follow-up question, is this work that has already been done?
Yes, it has.
That always concerns me to review.
So can we say for the future, when there is a bill for them, that we put the actual, whatever they're billing Molina's Court, could we include that with the list of bills? So that we don't come across this again? Just, I mean,
If I could make a suggestion, which might help everybody, what we do at the council is the city clerk has pretty much mostly all the POs for whatever it is that we're voting on when our bills come before. Just has them at the meeting so that if somebody needs to kind of just quickly just thumb through them, see what it is, have questions, bring it up at a meeting, whatever it may be. It may be an easier way than having to
Yeah.
scan things, send it over, if it's digital or not digital, it just might be an easier way, and that's just one suggestion.
Yeah, I've been putting, the majority of the bills are on a flash drive. I have a flash drive. If that would at all help things.
And if I may, just as general practice, and it doesn't just apply, well, I guess it applies mainly to your council bills. This would be any council, Mr. Freddie's firm, Randy Kavanaugh. If you start including them in the monthly list of bills, there may be things in there that are covered under attorney-client privilege that are subject to redaction. You would have to have someone redact them on a monthly basis, because once you make it part of the list of bills, it's part of the bid package, that immediately makes it public. Now, all of that is always operable and subject to redaction. But if you do it proactively, you're creating the burden of redaction on a monthly basis, if that makes any sense.
no, it doesn't.
So it may be that you want to distribute it to the board members, but not necessarily make it part of the bid package. I'm sorry, part of the meeting package.
Yeah, and like I said, that's why we do it. We put it at the council
Yeah.
table, and then the council person that needs to kind of look for something.
Excuse me, can I please
They
have
have the
quiet?
ability to go in and just kind of thumb through it, so.
Right.
But again,
I-
whatever is, as I said at our finance committee meeting last night, I am not in the business of making things overly burdensome for the administration. I want to make sure that it works for you as well, but we as commissioners want to make sure that we have the information that needed, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
you good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so next related question is I'm looking for,
Before we move, isn't there a motion on the?
Oh, yes.
So there's a motion to remove, yes.
So, is there anyone who would second that?
Personally, I'd just rather pay it. That's not a huge amount of money, and the work was done. But
And
that's
moving
just,
forward, just having.
and then just having that kind of standard way to deal with that.
And I would ask that you don't remove it, because they did this work
Yeah.
in preparation for RFP.
I understand that.
Okay, so there's no second, so it doesn't pass. Commissioner Sanford, if you want to continue with your question?
yes, so unless I'm just missing it, is Council Fitzpatrick's billing in this list of bills now? May I ask why?
It wasn't provided.
It wasn't provided. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you. Any further questions, concerns on behalf of the board? No? Director call the roll.
David Edwards,
Abstain?
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes,
Yes.
Gene Rodriguez.
Yes.
Michael Russo.
Aye.
James Sanford,
No.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Resolution number 2024-604, resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to award a contract for 300 Marshall parking lot improvements.
Motion.
Second.
Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you. And again, being new to the organization,
I'm sorry, I'm just having a problem hearing you.
We're gonna get you.
We're gonna get you the one you put on your shirt.
Lavalier.
We're gonna mic you up tonight.
again, being new to some of the bills and the process, the way it works in this organization, can someone explain to me, it said that this is being, let's see, I want to quote it correctly. This is part of a cooperative purchasing agreement administered by the Middlesex Regional Educational Services Commission, now known as the Educational Service Commission of New Jersey. And there's this and one other bill that's done under that cooperative agreement. Can somebody give me a synopsis of what that agreement is and how we're involved and how it relates to this and other transactions?
There are certain organizations, whether it be a county, whether it be, like in this instance, an educational commission, that will form cooperative purchasing agreements. And what they do is once they form this cooperative purchasing agreement, they will bid certain contracts that their county, their commission will need to utilize, whether it's maybe school supplies. In this instance, they went out to bid for masonry and paving type services. What we then do is become a member of this cooperative. And by becoming a member, we're able to leverage off of their bidding and utilize the contracts that they've entered into so that we don't need to do the bid on our own.
So they do the bidding for us?
Yes.
Yes, they bid it according to HUD standards, and then we can use their bid. There's also a process similar to this called piggybacking. I don't know if you've ever heard of that,
Yep.
which is the same idea that if, for example, the city were to bid snow removal and we wanted to use their bids, we could also piggyback on theirs.
Are we part of any other cooperative agreements?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so now the same issue will come up, or the same process will come up.
The same process.
And do we pay is there a cost for being part of the cooperative?
They actually charge the contractor that wins it a fee.
Okay, thank you.
And if I could add, pardon me, Commissioner, I don't mean to interrupt. If I could add, that is consistent with the local public contracts law, the administrative code, which provides for these cooperative agreements, and any cooperative agreement that the Housing Authority enters has to be approved by the Division of Local Government Services of the state of New Jersey.
And my last question, is this going to be an operating expense or a capital fund expense?
Capital fund.
Great, thank you.
Any further questions? Director Cosmo?
David Edwards,
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Michael Russo.
Aye.
James Sanford.
No.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Resolution number 2024-605, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to award a contract for provision of the delivery and pickup of steel roll-on, roll-off trash containers.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns,
One
Commissioner?
administrative question, again, is this an operating or a capital?
Operating.
Any further questions, concerns? Director Cosmo?
David Edwards,
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Aye.
Michael Russo.
Aye.
James Sanford.
No.
Erica Seitzman.
Aye.
Resolution number 2024-606, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to purchase a vehicle.
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns?
Manager, can we have a brief synopsis?
I believe, is,
Sure thing.
yeah.
Yep, we can do that. I'll let Sammy do it.
Why, the question basically is, why is this needed?
All right, so our electrician has a van, which is jammed up and it's run down. We ran it down to the ground, we already went through a transmission with it, and we're just gonna keep pumping money into this machine, into this van. So it's time for an upgrade for him, and we could utilize the space and for him to be more mobile inside a bigger van.
So is this replacing the vehicle that's in the next resolution?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
And again, is this an operating or capital?
Capital.
Sorry?
Capital.
Another van, right?
It's another van. It's a transit van.
Transit.
Is that the one getting from?
It's bigger.
Okay.
It's bigger.
Any further questions, concerns? Director Cosmo?
David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Michael Russo.
Aye.
James Sanford.
No.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Resolution number 2024-607, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken authorizing the executive director to sell, executive director to sell authority property through public auction, sealed bid, or through an interlocal sale to another governmental unit.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns? Director Cosmo?
David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Michael Russo.
Aye.
James Sanford.
No.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes. Resolution number 2024-608, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to reject all bids for courtyard improvements. Fencing at Harrison Gardens.
Motion.
Second.
Question?
Yes.
Again, just procedural.
Are we rejecting?
Why are we rejecting it? Why don't we just go out, why do you need our approval to go out to bid again?
Well, first of all, let me say, this broke my heart. I want this project. So, Counselor,
The simple answer is based on a recommendation. All 4 bids that were received significantly exceeded the cost estimate. So it was our recommendation that the authority reject all bids.
No, I'm in support of the rejection.
No, I'm just giving that answer to why.
Right.
And then the question to the procedural, ever since we came on, that has been the authority's standard operating procedure. There is no strict requirement that they reject by board resolution. But just to make sure that it was clear that that's why it was rejected, as opposed to somebody saying, oh, well, the executive director decided on his own to reject this. The policy has always been, since we've been representing the authority, to have the authority reject all bids, if that is the case, by board resolution. Just belt and suspenders, essentially.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just from my perspective as a councilman, like even in the city, we reject bids, right? So it's one of those things that we want to make sure that we're as transparent as possible, so that you never get into a situation. We have been in situations where one of the potential bidders came back and sued the city because they thought that something else was going on when it really wasn't. So we, in the city anyway, we instituted that policy to always reject the bids when they came back.
And then the next question, do we have other organizations for a new bidding process?
well, we'll republish the bids.
To the same people?
Well, to anyone who wants to come in, and
It
they
goes in
can
the
certainly
paper.
come in.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And we can, I mean,
Yeah.
but you can solicit
Well, yeah.
a bid, right? Like if you know
We do.
someone, it's a specialty bid or whatever it is, and you know someone, you know, that business is highly recommended, you could specifically send them that as well. But it does go out publicly, it's advertised, and then whoever is interested has the ability to respond.
Okay, thank you.
Got it. Any further questions or concerns? Director Cole?
David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Aye.
Michael Russo.
Aye.
James Sanford.
Abstain.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes. Resolution number 2024-0609, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to award contract for defensible space fencing installation at Andrew Jackson Gardens.
Second.
Questions, concerns?
Question.
Yes.
It's a small number, but I guess we're on the hook for $8,627 here because the grant is only $250.
That delta will go to our normal capital funds. So it
So-
won't be an operating expense, it'll still be a capital fund expenditure. But, so we were gonna use $250,000 of what was considered a safety and security grant that we just received. And the remaining $8,000 will come from our regular allocation of capital fund.
Great, thank you.
Any further questions, concerns? Director Cole?
David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Aye.
Michael Russo.
Aye.
James Sanford.
No.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes. Resolution number 2024-0610, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to award a contract for medical alert devices and monthly monitoring.
Motion.
Second?
Questions, concerns? Yes.
I know you'd be disappointed if I didn't ask a question.
Don't worry about it. Some people don't like questions.
Can somebody, I guess, I'm not understanding why this is a Hoboken Housing Authority expense, and just, somebody can just kind of explain to me what it is, and then get all the questions out there? Why only one organization?
Sure. The public housing rules say that we must have emergency alert notification for every unit. So we used to have pull cords back in the old days. And before I got here, actually, the pull cords, and this happened nationally, the pull cords were phased out because they had problems. People would tie them up and they'd fall and they couldn't reach them, etc. So there was a national move, and this organization did it, to go to a simpler solution, which is these emergency response. So we have an obligation to provide these by the Americans with Disability Act. So we have to have some type of emergency notification, so we are required to provide this service by HUD.
And what is it physically? Is it something on the wall? Is it,
Oh, it's a thing that you can hang around your neck?
so anybody can get, so not everybody has to have them, but anybody can get them?
That's correct.
No, wait, is there anyone that lives
Anyone
in
that's
the
lives
senior building
in the senior
that
buildings.
needs, that has one, right?
Yes.
Whether they use it or not, it's up to
It's
them.
up to them.
But we're obligated to provide it,
That's
correct?
right.
But only in the senior building or in all buildings?
Only in the season.
And then, why only one bid? Is this the organization that we're doing it with now, or are there no other people that do this?
We had no one else that came in.
Yeah, we did the same solicitation process as the other bids in this round. It was advertised, and for whatever reason, this was the only organization that came in. They are the current provider, or well, the current provider was acquired on the bill list. Currently, you see Critical Signal Technologies. They're providing the service right now. They were acquired by this organization called LS Senior. So, as far as
Again, just more for,
Yep.
make sure I understand. And did it go up a lot with the new owners?
but it hadn't been bid in a couple of years, but it went up about 10%. Right now, we're paying $24.75 a month, and this went up to $26.75.
Thank you.
So I have some follow-up questions. Who is the owner of LS Senior Living LLC?
I would have to check on that. I don't.
And I think my next question was about the purpose of the service. I think that's been answered. So after reviewing what was available to me, I looked at the physical address, and the company name doesn't necessarily match the company at this physical address. And it also appears that the office park or the building at this address is for sale, and that this business may not actually be at this address. So is there a different company that's at a different location? Is LS Senior a subsidiary of a different, like they just acquired something?
It was acquired by this, right?
So-
LS, I think he said that LS Senior acquired medical alert devices.
Yes.
But it looks like LS Senior Living is in itself a subsidiary of another company. And so my question is looking up 825 Rahway Avenue.
Was it Rahway Avenue?
Rahway Avenue, R-A-H-W-A-Y. That the building itself where it appears to be for sale, and that building may be empty. So I'm not sure if there's just a wrong address, or a misspelled name, or if just there's another location where it's actually this place.
I might be able to help you answer some of that, Emil. On the statement of ownership provided, the sole owner of LS Senior Living is the David Oppenheim 2005 Irrevocable Trust.
David
I'm sorry, is it LF or LS?
LS.
David Oppenheim.
Correct.
Can you spell it?
Oppenheim. And in terms of the address, if you give me 1 second.
That's the address of the trust, or?
Give me one moment, please, Commissioner, and I will hopefully be able to answer your question better. I just want to confirm for you, but what I'm looking to confirm, which was done when we reviewed the bid is the address that's used is always the address that is listed on the State of New Jersey Business Registration Certificate. So that is the address that the bidder used to register with the State of New Jersey. So beyond that, I don't know the answer to your question about this office park or anything like that. All I know is that with the State of New Jersey, as far as they're concerned, LS Senior Living LLC's address is 825 Rahway Avenue in Union.
So piggybacking on what he said, if the building is for sale, then they would have to change the address and then we would be notified, correct? It doesn't change anything if it's already.
I usually do not get into that. As far
Okay.
as I'm concerned, the only thing that's required by the local public contracts law is that they be registered with the State of New Jersey.
Okay,
So that is what the authority's responsibility is, to check and confirm, and that was done.
okay.
So beyond that, what address they give the state, as far as I'm concerned, is
That,
between
Them and the
the bidder and the state.
thank you.
Whether they own it or rent there, or whether it was sold, I said, we don't know.
So,
Okay.
well, where I'm also going with this is because this is for medical alert, that we're, presumably, if there was a medical alert, our senior would press a button or pull the cord, and then a signal would be sent to a location registering the alert. But I'm just concerned, did that location move? Where is it going now? And I would ask that we table this resolution until we can verify their actual existence or actual address.
Is there a motion to table?
If I could, before you do that, just might help a little bit. I know a lot of those devices don't only go to their call center.
Right.
They go directly to emergency services too.
Yeah.
So it's
that's
not-
a good point.
yeah.
That's a good point. But
I thought they did go to emergency.
They do.
Directly,
They do.
right?
They do,
Directly.
they go to both actually. So they have their own call center and
And we've
Or at
been
least
using-
most of them do.
We've
I
been
don't know
using them for a
specifically.
number of years, right?
Yes.
I mean, we've gotten great service with them, so.
well, I'd just like to reflect the actual,
No, they came.
if they've moved, they've moved, but let's get that updated before we pass this resolution. So I'd like to make a motion to table.
Does anyone second the motion? No one seconds it, motion fails. Director, is there any further questions, concerns? Can we call the vote then?
David Edwards,
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes,
Yes.
Gene Rodriguez,
Aye.
Michael Russo,
Aye.
James Sanford,
No.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes. Resolution number 2024-611, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to authorize the retention of independent counsel for Commissioner James Sanford to advise on suspected criminal matters at the authority. Questions, concerns?
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
If I can, motion in a second?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
motion.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Motion?
Second.
Thank you.
You can pick it. So,
Yeah, the question I have is, one, what would be separate and apart from your duty as our counsel in advising? And then two, wouldn't it just be referred right to law enforcement if there's any criminal matters that are of concern?
I don't know the specific nature of the request, so I can't really answer your first question. I would defer to Commissioner Sanford on that. I will point out that there is precedent for the Housing Authority obtaining a counsel for individual commissioners. Typically, that happens when the authority is sued.
Right, as a defense.
Right, is a defendant,
Right.
and then the case would be assigned to the JIF, and the JIF would assign an attorney to the individual commissioner.
Right.
That's not the case here, so
That's what I was
at
asking.
least in our experience, this is unprecedented. This would be a situation where normally if someone did feel the need for counsel because they thought there was some issue, but there wasn't a lawsuit against the authority, the body that they were a member of, that person would obtain their own counsel.
Right, and then, so I guess the question that goes back to the commissioner, is there, and again, if you're concerned about speaking about it, by all means, don't. But is there any more information you can give us that this came about?
So, council is correct about the precedent and I suppose the circumstances of the precedent, and I would argue that this is in relation to the previous Garcia litigation, where I was a party to that suit, and in that specific instance, I was given by the JIF a separate attorney to provide advice and legal counsel. And based upon everything that I've experienced, it has come to the point where I require legal counsel to advise on criminal matters. Both Harold and Matt Fitzpatrick have provided general counsel, and they have also said that they are not my personal counsel, and so they are not able to advise me on certain criminal matters.
Yeah, so again, I don't know specifically what you're going through or if there's, any matters brought against you, but I don't think it's our position as a board to hire an independent counsel for any issues that you're dealing with outside of whether it's, honestly, if it's defending against some civil liabilities because your position here as a board member, but to provide counsel for any criminal matters that you may be dealing with, I don't think that's important to.
This is not about what I personally am dealing with. These are criminal matters committed by or at this housing authority, and I require the assistance of counsel to determine the best path forward.
If I may, Commissioner?
Please. And I'm sorry I misunderstood that. I totally misunderstood that. I thought you were dealing with a criminal matter against yourself.
No.
And again, I don't know whether there are any new developments, but we have had discussions with Commissioner Sanford where he has raised some concerns about criminal matters, and we have provided him counsel, and that counsel is he should bring it to the appropriate authorities, whether that be the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office, the State Attorney General, the HUD OIG, whatever that body is, and that's been our advice all along.
Yeah, and again, this is just me, I would agree with that advice. If there's, we do this as commissioners when we have members of the public come to us and make any types of accusations. We tell them all, please, the chief of police, the county prosecutor, the state attorney general, whomever that you feel most comfortable with, I think you should refer that over. But as far as hiring somebody to guide you to go to one of those organizations, I think it's an unnecessary expense for the board and the authority. Quite honestly, I think it's an unnecessary added layer for somebody, whether it's a commissioner or a member of the public. Those entities are there for exactly that. If there's a criminal act or a suspected criminal act, that's their job, right? That's what you do. You go, you let them know, they investigate it, and they take it into their own hands to do that. So I just don't see a need for an attorney for you. By all means, whatever information you think you may need to pass on to any of those law enforcement agents, I would highly recommend that you do that.
Well, my question to counsel is, and I tried asking this question at the last meeting, is yes, counsel did advise this commissioner to speak to the U.S. attorney. Your father did specifically.
I'm sorry, your father did specifically?
Yes, Counsel Matt Fitzpatrick's father, Harold Fitzpatrick, had advised me to do that. And then the question is, and then what? As a commissioner, I still have responsibilities. I still have duties to protect this housing authority. And in lieu of very recent events, I believe that I need counsel, criminal counsel, or independent counsel to advise on criminal matters that cannot be handled by general counsel. And since this housing authority and the JIF have seen fit in the past to appoint specific counsel to this commissioner, I don't think it's an unreasonable request.
I understand your position, Commissioner, but it's the reverse, right? That's in defense of you as a commissioner or as an entity of this authority. Just like, I mean, the same situation has happened at council, right?
Yes.
So council members have been afforded that same opportunity because they were personally sued because of their actions as a council person, or they were part of a suit collectively with the city. This is a very different type of a situation where, one, I think there might even be a conflict of hiring counsel to to take action against the board or the authority or any individuals of the authority, because it may not be criminal and it may be civil, right? Those are,
that's
again,
jumping too far ahead. That's jumping too far
understood.
ahead.
I
That's
would,
what
the only
council would be
suggestion.
able to advise me.
Well, understood, but that's a personal expense, right? That's not an authority.
It is
my
done in
opinion,
service to this housing
you
authority
could-
as a commission.
You and I could both
I think from,
disagree on that, but
Well,
I don't
for
think it's,
example-
I don't think it's an authority.
For example, the city council recently created an investigative committee. Did it
Correct.
not? So in that line, if I have information to share with your committee, I require council to share information with your committee.
If I could,
No,
Commissioner, though, that would be
That's different.
you sharing information, you seeking counsel to share information on your behalf.
That's not
As
my
opposed to the authority voting as a body, which is this board, to share that information. So I think there's a distinction there that.
But it's related to
it
my
is-
duties as a housing authority commissioner. I have repeatedly tried to have conversations with general counsel regarding criminal matters, and I have been rebuffed by general counsel.
I totally disagree with that premise. We have never rebuffed your attempts to have conversations about any of the things you have alleged. We have asked you repeatedly, if you have information you would like to share with us, please do, and we would be happy to review it and advise the board on it.
And refer it, and
Correct.
refer it. And I would hold, personally, I would hold Matt and his dad accountable to make sure that if there is something like that, it's referred to the appropriate authority.
In fact, we at one point tried to facilitate a conversation between you and a HUD representative that you repeatedly asked for. And you refused because it wasn't on the specific terms that you demanded, which were totally unreasonable.
So this gets to exactly why I do not trust general counsel. The terms of that meeting were unreasonable. I still have not been put in touch with that HUD representative.
Because that HUD representative
Listen.
asked that we
So-
facilitate it, and you refused to allow it.
So this is exactly why I cannot have these conversations with general counsel.
okay, so the
So have
bottom
those
line,
conversations with the authorities, Commissioner.
So
Which is
now-
what we've advised you repeatedly.
my question is, understanding what you said, Matt, the only way that we would provide a lawyer is if we are part, like the commissioner, I'm saying we, but as a commissioner, collectively, we are part of a lawsuit, right? Then,
That would be the standard. If
Right.
one of the commissioners was sued, was named as a defendant in a complaint, acting in their capacity as a commissioner, typically it would be referred to your insurance carrier, in this case the JIF, and the JIF would then determine whether it's appropriate to assign separate counsel to the individual commissioner, as opposed to one counsel to the board as a whole. And there have been situations, not just in Commissioner Sanford's instance, where the JIF has made that recommendation and counsel has been assigned to individual commissioners. I will also point out, and I just know this from news stories, not from our experience because this predates us, there was a situation where, similar to Commissioner Sanford, a Hoboken Housing Authority commissioner had some concerns, and that Hoboken Housing Authority commissioner retained his own attorney, and then later sought reimbursement from the authority for that attorney, and the answer was no.
yes, I remember
This was
that.
somebody you retained on your own volition, and you're responsible for that expenditure.
Okay,
Yeah, and the only
I
other
just
thing
don't-
that I would add is if we acted as a body, right? If the concern was brought to us and the majority of the board voted that it was a major concern, we wanted to hire an attorney, then that I could see something like that, but this is an individual wanting to take an action separate and apart from the board, which I think you go down a very slippery slope if you start to do that. Because if tomorrow I turn around and I don't like Commissioner Edwards' glasses and I'm gonna take action against them, right? Like, I think, and of course it's a ridiculous analogy, but the point is, I think you go down a very slippery slope. If it was something that was brought before the board and we voted on it collectively and we all looked at it, then I could see having further conversation, but I just don't see how or why we would want to spend money on an attorney having absolutely no idea what any of this is about and having one individual commissioner bringing that forward. To me, it just goes against everything as a commission, as a body. So I'll be voting no.
I also want to state that if, I know you continuously state, and even in the resolution about criminal matters, again, I'll only repeat what has been repeated not only by our council, but I guess on this board on several occasions, is to get in touch with the authorities, right? And let them do the investigation. And I'm pretty sure that if you have what you state, or you feel you have, if there is some criminal activity that is going on, then those that are doing this criminal activity will be held accountable. Because, I mean, no matter if you go to the Hudson County prosecutors, the state, whoever it is, they're independent. They don't know many of us. They don't know any of us if that's the case. So if that's what you're worried about, then, you know, again, I just feel that I don't think that this is appropriate, because what are we going to have 7 individual lawyers for every single commissioner when we have a concern? I also will be voting no. So, any further questions, concerns? No? Can we call the vote, Director?
David Edwards,
No.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes,
No.
Jean Rodriguez,
No.
Michael Russo,
No.
James Sanford,
Yes.
Erica Seitzman.
No.
Resolution number 2024-06-12, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to terminate the Executive Director's contract. Questions, concerns?
No motion.
Motion in a
I'm
second.
sorry. Motion?
Motion.
Who made the motion?
Commissioner Sanford.
Is there a second on the floor? There's no second on the floor. The resolution doesn't pass. Resolution number 2024-06-13, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to enter into closed session to discuss matter of personnel.
Madam Chair, point of order. Do we have any personnel discussions scheduled for tonight?
Do we? Are we aware?
No.
Do we know who put this resolution?
This is related to the previous resolution.
Okay, so, okay.
Well, you voted the other one down, so we can just skip this.
Okay. Okay, so do I have to say anything that because the other, on the record, I just want to make sure.
Just to be perfectly clear, it's on the agenda. I would motion to, I would have a vote to remove it from the agenda.
Okay. So,
Good.
There was no motion. There was no motion. There was no second.
Correct.
You just being overly cautious?
Belt and suspenders, yes. It was put on the agenda. There was a request that it be placed on the agenda. I would address it, whether it's to table it, whether it's to remove it from the agenda.
I'll make a motion to remove 2024-06.12 and 2024-06.13 from the agenda.
Second.
questions, concerns? Director, call the vote.
David Edwards,
If I vote yes, it's voting to
Remove them from the agenda, yes.
So yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez,
Yes.
Michael Russo.
Aye.
James Sanford,
No.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Director, before we close, I just wanted to share with you guys, all the commissioners, and maybe I can give it to Frank or Director, one of you guys. Today, I was in a meeting at the federal building earlier today with my regular job, and HUD was there. And they had some information about Region 2, which is what we are. So they had a resource sheet of all the information that we need, and also some fair housing resources. So I don't know if you guys want, yeah, you guys want to share it with the director, with the commissioners, so that they are aware and have all the information they need for HUD.
Thank you so much.
I move the meeting be closed.
Yes, so motion to close.
I'll second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
No.
Thank you, have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.